Recording in
you?
progress.
Hi.
Give me a woohoo.
Woohoo!
That's
That's
what I
right.
like. That's what I like.
That's the energy that we want today.
Yeah.
So we are here with Dr. Ed Bauman, who is, in case you didn't know, the founder of Bauman College. And we're here today to talk about his new book, which we have here, called Nourishing Wisdom. You've written quite a few books, but this is your newest venture.
Them.
Yeah, how many books is it? 15?
15. Yeah.
Trying to get to around 20?
I think this could be it. You know, there's a point where you tie the cord and no, there'll be one more.
I'm sure.
There's always one
There
more.
has to be one more.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to start with, Dr. B,
Yes.
is just, I think a lot of people here and online know you. You have this incredible legacy, but we would love to just kind of get to know you a little bit more, your story. Like, how did Bauman come around? How did the school happen?
Well, I came around in 1946. Yeah, because that's how I came around. And I grew up in D.C., so I had an urban start right near the White House, downtown, multicultural. I think that's important, the multicultural. Food influences very early on, all kinds of ethnic, national food, largely fresh food. And my mom was a good foodie, so I think that's a key thing. My mom could cook, my mom could shop, and she would take me to the food store and we would smell pineapples and cantaloupes. So at age 11, I was sniffing food. And she'd say, which one of those looks the best on the tomatoes? And I'd go, the one all the way on the bottom, and they'd all fall down. But this was when food was out. It wasn't all packaged, bundled, suffocated in plastic. And then a few things went by, and I moved to the country. I left law school with the famous statement, which is probably what I said: I want to study the law of nature and spirit, not the law of commerce and American justice. So I was a counterculture kid, okay? And it just came to me like, boom, I'm more interested in Eastern studies, in old studies, in the laws of nature. So at age 22, I moved to the country. And I started growing food. Myself and my colleagues bought a farm, and we hosted the first Vipassana meditation course in the US. So Buddha Insight Meditation in 1970. And my 5 or 6 friends were more ashrami, and I was more food co-op and natural food restaurant-ish. So again, the food, growing the food, cooking on a wood stove, putting the food up, country, gardening, carpentry. My wife can't believe I did so much garden work, yard work, housework back in the day. But started a natural food restaurant in Greenfield, Massachusetts. Anyone know where that might be? West of Amherst, Western Mass. It's nice. And all along studying nutrition, biochemistry, naturopathic medicine, Eastern medicine, all that. So that was the first generation. Then I moved to Berkeley, California in '76 at the ripe old age of 30, and came in with the identity of a holistic nutritionist, holistic with an H. I was one of the earlier promulgators of the H instead of the W, and put together this book, the Holistic Health Handbook, in '77. This book sold 250,000 copies. So all of a sudden I had whoa, this could be a rock star career, or this could be community education and clinic, and I opted for community education and clinic, and we started an integrative medical center. After this book, with the notoriety, we had 3 medical doctors, acupuncturist, chiropractor, 4 body workers, 4. Hypnotherapist, nutritionist, herbalist, and a free healing circle where we silently prayed for people, all people, anyone who came. So this whole holistic paradigm came to me in the 70s. So then I looked at what was going on at UC Berkeley, the wellness letter, the dietetics program. I said, this is not good. This is totally commercial. This is totally supporting the whole institution of big agriculture, big food, big pharma, big medicine, contrary to the roots of natural health. I mean, if anyone looked at it, they could say the same thing. It was pretty obvious. But the dietetics were abominable. Okay? So we had the 4 food groups. We had the pyramid, we had the plate, we even have what's now kind of a jumble, and they call that dietary guidelines. But I decided, because I'm a starter initiator, to write a curriculum on holistic nutrition. So I did. And I wrote it in '84. So that's a while back now. And it was approved by the Board of Education for state training, and that's how it got started. It's just this thing about, if you don't like what's going on, create something that you feel has integrity and has an evergreen effect. I think that's important, that most people think things are changing so rapidly. Not for me. I mean, they're changing in ways I don't like. They're becoming more synthetic. They're becoming more artificial. They're becoming kind of less natural, organic, local, sustainable, which is kind of the background of the eating for health approach. Does that give you an idea of, storyline?
I wondered if you could talk a little bit about, because we're actually at the National Holistic Institute today, which is the partner school of Bauman.
That's right.
And one of the things that I loved learning from you early on was your early connection with NHI. So can you talk a little bit about that and how the partnership with NHI-BC happened?
Okay. So community is the big paradigm for me. This is our community right here, right now. We're all contributors. We're all sharing space. We're all sharing thought. We're all sharing feeling. We're all sharing bacteria. So have some mushrooms. But the idea was in this Berkeley Holistic Health Center, as all my groups, it's a group-oriented practice. And we were democratic. That's unusual. Usually it's hierarchical. I was the director, so I call the shots. Something to be said for that. If you want to play it your way, lead and lay out the structure. So we were very collective. And one of our members was Susan Koenig, who was the founder of National Holistic Institute. And she worked at the Holistic Health Center. And we were just a social group with this consciousness idea. And her partner was Carol Carpenter, who, again, is a remarkable woman. You know Carol? You're nodding your head? But, I mean, she's my generation of breakthrough leaders, particularly female leaders. And so they, at the same time I was doing the Berkeley Holistic Health Center, they were doing National Holistic Institute, NHI. We were a few blocks away. And I said, hey, how about a course of nutrition for body workers? Still a good idea here. Nutrition for body workers. Because people have pains and injuries and damage and bones and nerves and, all that stuff. And the idea of the holistic paradigm is how it all fits together. It's multi-layered, multi-dimensional, synchronistic. So it was rather easy. I taught the basic eating for health approach to body workers, and then built out some specialties around joints and bones and nerves and pain, and enjoyed going over there and doing it. And then a couple of years later, I moved on to grad school, so that sort of quieted it down. Mm-hmm. Then fast forward to 2019, I got a call from Karen Rothstein, our Fearless Operation Director, who became the executive director after me, and she said, Ed, I hate to tell you, but the ship is sinking. The Bauman ship is in Titanic mode. I go, well, get the lifeboats, get the women and children off first, but we'll see what we can do because of competition. I think in any business, you look at SWOT, S-W-O-T. Anyone knows what that stands for? Mikkel does. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So that's, you look at where you're at and you look at what you got, what other people had, and competition was coming on strong. And because our program was so hands-on, so labor-intensive, and we had 5 brick-and-mortar schools, NHI had 10. But it was a high-cost operation, and also we paid our teachers well, took care of them as well as we can. So that whole thing was going on, but now you have certificates for pennies and people who say, I already know all that. And I go, you don't know all that. I don't know all that. How can you know all that? And this is my life work. The more you know, the less you know, but there's certain principles we teach here. But anyway, I said within 6 weeks, I'm just going to quietly close Bauman, 32-year run, great, wonderful relationships, wonderful service, or I'm going to find someone who wants to take it over. So I made one call, and it was to NHI. And the people who picked it up was Mason, who's one of the owners, and Tim, who's the partner. And they go, we want to do something like you're doing. We were thinking about nutrition, which I love. I go, well, let's see if we can make this work. And then we had to get through accreditation, which you and others really did amazing work to demonstrate that this is professional. Just like now, nursing is not a professional skill. Who says that? I mean, who says these things? Where are they coming from? What are you trying to do, people? But the idea of nutrition and culinary is so primary to life existence. Mm-hmm. It's so endangered by current trends. 2 out of 3 people don't cook at all. And even though there's knowledge of healthy food, the commercials are still junk food. So we have a role to play in terms of holding the balance between survival and adios. So all of the nutritionists and chefs, and the idea of culinary nutrition, which Lizette, my colleague, is really supreme, is Lizette understands, and Jeffrey, our partner, that these two are really well put together. And then how to make amazingly delicious food and healthy food and affordable food. We're unique in that aspect. Now, there's other people who cook and other people who teach science and other people who train, but the character of this program is what makes it stand out. And again, the people who show up here and dedicate their time and energy to helping people, both in massage and nutrition and culinary, it's the highest integrity, which makes me so proud that I had the good fortune to dream this thing up and to get out before I got exhausted. So I didn't get exhausted. I just keep growing and keep doing the work.
And writing books?
Writing books.
Writing books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we pivot to that?
All right.
Talk a little bit about Nourishing Wisdom. I'm really curious about what the catalyst was for this particular book, Out of Your 15,
Yeah.
and what you're hoping to accomplish with it.
That's a good one. Well, I'm a student. We're all students. I'm a writer, a teacher, I'm a human. I'm a musician who sings through food and nutrition and love. So that's the essence of all this, is the love that comes from validating this eternal tradition that goes way back to the beginning of time. There's a beautiful article in here called The Origin of Medicine. And to paraphrase it, in the beginning, the plants and animals inhabited the earth, and they got along great. And everyone could communicate, everyone could share, there was abundance, it was just gorgeous. And then this creature came along. humans. And these humans started to plunder, started to kill, started to exploit the animals and the plants. This is a Cherokee origin myth. So I learned this in the early 70s, and I had to kind of recreate it because it's stuck in my mind as apocryphal. It's just so important. Now, again, it's a fable, but still. So anyway, all the animals said, we're going to infect humans because humans are just ruining our beautiful paradise. And they all talked about how to hurt people, how to hurt their joints, how to hurt their brain, how to hurt their guts, how people could have illnesses in so many diverse places, all from the toxicity that humans were generating on the earth, mostly from disrespect and lack of natural order. And then the plants said, we're the remedy. We offer the cure. If humans will understand plants and understand nature and participate in the biosphere with generosity and kindness, all will be well. That message needs to be said. It needs to be heard. Nobody says that. We live in a shopping mall. Even in the health sciences, it's nothing but buy me, try me. Education is about empowering people to make change and to remember what the stuff of life is all about. So that's part of Nourishing Wisdom, is looking at stories and looking at poetry and looking at meditations and looking at world culture and looking at science. To me, science validates all of the assumptions I had as an early kid, as an early teacher, as a growing person that I never wavered from. I don't think anything I've said, Laura can quote me now, I had to swallow and say, oops, that was wrong. The pedagogy of eating for health, of whole foods, sustainable foods, of individual choice, of diet direction, of levels of eating, these are the things that I generated out of my own consciousness and built learning models on how to understand people. I was just in the bodywork demo, and they were look at the posture, look at the movement, with nutrition, it's don't look at the sales, don't look at the fad, look at the situation that's presenting itself now. Who's the person? What's the genetics? What's the presenting symptom? What are the foods? What is the lifestyle? What is the mindset? What is the community? What is the culture? And invite them to be in our culture. People need to be part of this nice, warm, generous, open, respectful culture that includes all beings, it's diverse, and all schools of nutrition are welcome. But there's no fighting. There's no competition. There's no this is better than that. If you want to do this, fine. So I don't tell people what to do. I offer information, education, empowered choice, and say, see how that works. And oh, by the way, here's the data that shows the value of certain herbs, certain foods, certain spices, certain nutrients, and start to get educated, because the more ill you are, the quicker you need to learn about how this whole thing works. So the book offers a beautiful selection of images from my wife, Chris, who's here on the Zoom. Hi, Chris. And so Chris and I did this together. The Bauman show is Chris and Ed together, which I like. And when we did the Bauman College, Chris worked there for 18 years. So people give me credit, but there's no credit without Laura and Lizette and a cast of females, a mighty cast of people, who do the work and show up together. So the book is just a collection of articles like Life magazine. Remember in the old days? We get the magazine and we see the pictures, and this has big print for seniors. It has glossy pictures for people, and the pictures are all nature. They're not synthetic. They're not altered. They're not tech. They're not sci-fi. They're not anime. They're like pictures of real life and real foods and real people.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
Really beautiful and Chris, such a beautiful job on the pictures too. And cool to see that
photos.
collaboration.
It's been
as well.
really, really special,
Yeah.
to really work together on so many levels.
Yeah, it's it's such a beautiful offering. And early on in the book, you talk about kind of rethinking what nourishment means. Can you talk a little bit more versus just food? What does that mean to you?
I'd like to ask you what you think it means.
Ooh, you're asking me questions
or the
now?
group. I mean, seriously, we all have this kind of knowledge. It's innate knowledge. So group, if you would, somebody toss out a concept of nourishment beyond food, or I'll call on you. I do that.
Like a teacher.
Well, I do that, yeah.
Well, I'll say for me, it's being in community.
Yes.
Having community is really important.
Sherry, what would you say? Speak loudly or we'll repeat it.
Food infused with love.
Right.
Kind of, feeds the soul.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Food infused with love that feeds the soul. I mean, there's nothing more generous than going, here, I made this for you.
Yeah.
And somebody could say, well, what's in it? No, that's not the right response. Because if people made it, it means they care and there's this energy that is really palpable. What else about the broader notion of nourishment?
Respect and affection.
Respect and affection. Yeah, I would say for all beings. And that, we nourish the earth. We nourish each other. We're friends. My boys are here from my Pete's Club, and we just hang out and show up for each other and have love and affection, and we're all very different and unique. But it's nourishing to be together and to be seen and to be heard and to be felt and to be cared for. Yeah. And what I'm doing more and more now is looking for people who are lost and lonely and going, hey, you're part of my world. And if I can give them a book or cook them a meal or invite them over for a cup of tea. I think a cup of tea is how we change the world, one cup at a time. So I hope you got some of this special tea. And then I have one more question for some of the more advanced people. Do you have any idea what this is? It came out of my backyard.
Is it clinical?
Close. If you smell it, verbena, love and verbena, it is. And it's on the winter side now. It's starting to get, dried up and go. But it's so nice. And planting things around us is so much a part of this nourishing wisdom. And because you can buy anything, but it's not the same as growing it or caring for it or watching it go through cycles and seasons.
Yeah.
But this idea of nourishment is this vibrational culture that we inhabit along with about 4 or 5 billion people right now. I want you to get that notion in your head. Right now, there are people all over the globe, in every part of the world, who are part of the natural order, who have families, have gardens, have relationships, are caring for elders, or caring for kids, having, dinner parties and making tea all over the world, and offering prayers for things to work. So sometimes people would go, Ed, you're really weird. And I tell my students, that's a compliment. That means you're awesome. See? So this thing about, I took the path less traveled. I'm still on that path. And more people are on that path. And Bauman and NHI and like-minded schools and education and groups and churches are opening up to this diversity that will create a transformation in our lifetime. So you see all the signs of the end. I see the signs of the beginning. I'm about Renaissance all day long. And it starts obviously within ourselves and the choices we make, and then the kids. So talking to kids, man, I love talking to kids. Making food for kids, throwing it down, having smack talk, all that kind of stuff. And they go, oh, this is weird. I go, yeah, is it weird good or weird bad? They go, oh, it's good. And then this one kid I was working with, Chris and I do kids cooking, and I go, you got real talent, kid. Imagine somebody like me talking to a 12-year-old, like your kids, Lizette, when they were young, and going, you guys got real talent. You could do this thing. Start cooking for your parents. Start cooking for your friends. And let the mainstream food be a minor part of your eating. I have teenage girls, 15, going through all that puberty, having acne and breakout, because the illnesses give us an opportunity to teach. The illnesses, whether it's young, medium, old, life-threatening or not, open up this enormous window of creating a field of learning, not a field of propaganda, a field of programming, a business opportunity, but like, wow, we can talk now. And I'll make a meal, and then we'll make a meal, then you'll make a meal, and then you'll share a meal, and then you'll feel better, and you'll believe that you can recover and heal because you're getting finally what you need. You're getting food, you're getting love, you're getting empowerment and respect, regardless of age and stage. So to me, that's not a science book. Science books are good. They're good, but the people showing up with this kind of caring attitude sets us way apart. And knowing some of my students are still part of the school makes me so proud. It really does, and that we're in the same vibration.
Yeah.
So, yay. So a book is a good thing. It is for sale. It's a good gift, that kind of thing. It's very understandable, because some of what we do is code. It's just us talking to us about obscure things that we tend to know, just like other systems. This is meant to be understood and enjoyed and shared. And it can be an ebook, so you have it on portable, or it can be a paper book, that kind of thing. But that's where I'm coming from, and I'm coming from that place more and more and more all the time. So even though my next birthday will be 80, I got strong passion to do this work with friends and have support and praise for other people, because that's how we win this thing.
I am really curious about, this book. What do you hope people take from it when they read this book? What's kind of the key message
it's a
for
spiritual text. Mm-hmm. My whole nutrition is a ministry. It's not a business. It just so happens it worked and supported a lot of people for a long time. And we have to have a business. We don't have business, we're all in the street. Mm-hmm. So we need to be able to support each other, and it's a righteous profession. And the book enables people to find their way into the holistic world. Some come in through metaphysics, some come in through science, some come through art, some come through music, poetry. But by looking at a diverse book, not a reductionistic book, because most medicine is reductionistic. Even naturopathic medicine is very reductionistic. Oh, you have a headache, this is what you do for your head. Your head is part of your gut, is part of your nerves, is part of your body, is part of the environment, it's part of the noise, it's part of the quiet. So by looking at this book and actually reading it, I have a few people who have read the whole book. I mean, how many people can say they've read a whole book lately? My friends do. But the idea, is to really understand the interplay of art and spirit and music, and they're not in opposition at all. And people are not interested in something, skip it. But I do think it's the holistic health book 50 years later. See, that's so cool. I had the inspiration. I wrote this outline one night. I was looking for a job, $5 an hour delivering books in Berkeley. And I was the head of the Berkeley Holistic Health Center. And the guy said, well, you're a college graduate. Aren't you a practitioner? I go, yeah. I said, I just need $100 a week, so I can keep going. And he said, well, have you ever thought about writing a book? I go, I have now. So saying yes to opportunity is part of my trademark. And then he said, why don't you describe all the things your people are doing, and then some. So this came out of it, and then this is kind of a update.
Would you perhaps read a passage from it for us before we open it up to
I want questions and discussions too. Thank you. You're a very gracious host. Can we go around the country doing this? I mean, think about it. Wouldn't you say?
A little tour?
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I would say. Well, this is the first thing I wrote, which was from the Tao Te Ching. Do we know what the Tao is? So what I do is I take a traditional piece and I edify it. So if you give a man a fish, he will make a meal. If you teach him to fish, he will have a living. If you think a year ahead, sow seed. If you think 10 years ahead, plant a tree. If you vision 100 years ahead, educate the people. I wrote that. By sowing a seed once, you harvest once. By planting a tree, you harvest tenfold. By educating the people, you will harvest 100-fold. Everybody here is an educator. We're all learning, we're all practicing, we're all sharing. So that was kind of my inscription. Then I put in a piece from Jeffrey Bland, who was really one of my primary biochemical teachers. And it's funny because it's thoughts about making America healthy again. This is RFK. No comment. But what Bland said, and there are colleagues of mine who are in communication with that group about we need to modify the healthcare system. And he laid out, and I put this in the beginning because it's policy. We need policy. We need popular support, but we need to penetrate the leaders to build a better mousetrap that works for all of us. So if somebody like that reads this, they go, wow, this person is actually educated. This is not woo-woo, this is actually policy. But he said we need to empower Americans through transparency and open source data and avoid conflicts of interest in all federally funded health research. That's good. Prioritize gold standard research on why Americans are getting sick in all health-related research funded by federal government. Yeah, prioritize health, not disease. Collaborate with farmers to ensure that the U.S. food is healthy, abundant, and affordable. I'm huge on affordable. And ensure expanded treatment options and health coverage flexibility for beneficial lifestyle changes and disease prevention. You know, that's what I'm talking about. I grew up in DC. I could have been a politician. I could have been one of those guys. And then I said, no, I'm going on the path of the earth and the rest of it. But that's in this book. And then there's other just really interesting, diverse commentary. And there's a lot of nutrition and recipes. So a lot of Lizette and my recipes from the flavors of health, I put in the book. And then Phyllis Peterson is our publisher. So shout out to an editor and a publisher. For those of us who write, writers write, editors make it literate, and designers make it beautiful. So I recognize I'm not a one-man band. I have some ideas. I put them out there, and then collaboratively we build it together.
That's kind of a perfect segue for a question I wanted to ask
Yes.
you. I know there are a number of students and grads who have expressed interest in writing, whether it's
Yes.
a cookbook
Yes.
or book
That's
around
good.
nutrition.
Yeah.
Can you just maybe give some advice or talk about the process, what you've maybe lessons learned from that process?
Think for yourself, learn how to express yourself, share what's meaningful to you. Nobody can take it away. If you're a carnivore and you eat meat for 89 days in a row and it works for you, write it up. But don't believe what other people say. Because we're in that culture where you're getting all this sales prop about, do this, do that, it works for everything works for some people some of the time. And it doesn't keep working. You have to be able to be modifying through age and stage of life. I got lots of stories on that being in the jungle, but for another time.
That'll be for the tour.
Yeah, but the idea is still about writing is learn to write, express yourself, and then have a writing partner who reads it. And be open to commentary, be open to feedback, and then illustrate. Because just reading is not very attractive anymore. People don't read.
Yeah.
And then make a booklet. Make a 5-page booklet, a 10-page booklet, a 12-page booklet. Make a bunch of little booklets, And then self-publish. Now, this book, I'm looking for a really international first-rate with 17 translations. I want this book to reach 1 billion people this year. Okay, last year I was wanting to reach 1 million, and I fell a wee bit short, but I'm still out there putting it out. This year I want this information, this not the book as a product, but the information as an experience for people to hear. You see? So again, getting a regular publisher, when I did this book, they paid me money, they paid advance. That was the good old days. Now, publishers are not selling books, so they're not giving out advances. You have to do self-publishing. And then use it as a way of educating people and, find a large group that's interested in what you have to say. If you're in the food and nutrition world, you've got wonderful recipes, remedies, and stories. That's my favorite thing, recipes, remedies, research, and stories. So I have a spice book there that's magnificent that I wrote with a Bauman grad that is really academic, and it's really practical, and it's really colorful. I mean, it's got that Bauman combo vibe. It's got 5 different ways of looking at turmeric. You see, not just, turmeric's good for pain. People don't even know what it is or what it looks like or where it was grown or all that kind of stuff. That's learning about nutrition and cooking, learning about what you're cooking and having plants that you're starting to enjoy, new plants, new friends. People have animals. We were talking about this, about dogs. Plants are way easier than dogs and cats. And sustainable, renewable plants, perennial plants, they're the gift that keeps on giving. Thanks to my wife, we have 15 fruit trees in the yard. I got so many lemons and so many figs. If you get that notion of building a homestead like my friend's Holmstrom does, it feeds you and it feeds the neighborhood. And that's natural, organic living that builds integrity and community. But that's not what you see on TV.
Well, I have one more question for you.
I want to hear Q&A and
I wanted to ask you one more question because I think it's something I'm really curious about. I'm curious about everything, but I'm really curious about what excites you about the future of nutrition, where you think this field is moving.
Well, it's moving in the wrong direction. Okay, because it's all product and commodity. And people will buy anything. And now you have people with money. And now you have people without money. I tend to talk to the people without money because that's most people. So most people need to figure out how to get back to the soil, get back to the earth, do things collectively, eat simply, eat naturally, eat whole. So that's good. That's one path, and that's a big path. And now I'm working with colleagues in China and colleagues in Africa and colleagues in Bermuda and colleagues in Latin America, and translating these things into those language and learning about the cultural synergy and some barriers, because these are people who aren't quite as modernized and go, you don't want the modern packaging product. We used to call it SAD. What does that stand for, Laura? I call it MAD, Modern Artificial Diet, because SAD makes you mad and makes you sick. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. And yet, that's business. And that's business for the various other businesses that feed on illness. So again, we're building this other cycle of life, and there's room for more educators and also just creating learning activities. Learn through activity. Do things together. Make a meal, have a cup of tea, do some weeds, build that culture. And it's the same in our gut. Build culture, build diversity, have a little dirt in your life. It's good. So I think I'm advocating for that. I think in various parts of the universe, it's a good song. And I think people will sing it, and people will play it, and people act it out, because they'll get over the fascination with packaging, the fascination with refinement, the fascination with superficial food. Now, with the new dietary guidelines, yes, there's some improvement. Yes, there's some, more real food. But it's a mishmash, and it doesn't address chemicals. Chemicals are killing people. Chemicals in the soil, chemicals in the air, chemicals in the food. The gut problems are from people who eat animal products that are loaded with antibiotics, and they eat the animal products 2 or 3 times a day, and they get all sick. They think it's the animal's fault. It's not the animal's fault. It's the people who are growing the animals and the way they raise animals and sell animals, and then the government subsidizes that. That's wrong. If they want to make a difference, if the Make America Healthy Again is, they subsidize natural organic food, they subsidize backyard gardening, they subsidize fruits and veg that are natural, and animals that are grown on grass, and then people get well. People get well, then it's like, oh my God, nobody's going to the doctor. Well, the doctors could be artists, or the doctors could be teachers. Because I got to say, I have high regard for doctors. My wife's going through medical issues. Doctors have been good. Doctors listen to me. So my attitude is we're in it to win it together. I'm not interested in negating, arguing, talking about bad experiences. I have knowledge, you have knowledge, we have knowledge. We can beat illness. We can turn illness into wellness. Illness is I lack love. Wellness is we love life. Slogan.
Yep.
Now again, it's a little simple, but nevertheless, it's a mindset. And then it's a collective activity. It's not an individual activity. So to me, that's the idea of nutrition, and that making food is an art form. Making food is exercise. Making food is recreation. Making food is exciting. It's laboratory. It's alchemy. It's even if it's a little off, it's fun. Not that every tomato looks the same, tastes like nothing, but gee, what a weird tomato. Does anybody know what that is? If you do, I'll be impressed, because I didn't.
Buddha's hand.
It's not.
It's a lemon.
It's Buddha's hand. You're on it. You're on it. So, yeah, but I didn't know what that was. So there's always more to learn. It's great.
Well, I think the simplest slogans are the best slogans,
Okay.
so I want to write that one down.
You can coin it with my name on it.
Copyright, Dr. Ed Bauman.
Well,
but for now,
yeah.
I would love to just open it up to questions.
And
both,
comments.
Yeah, here in person as well as online.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from the Zoomers first.
Yeah, the Zoomers.
Because they're very patient.
Yeah.
I'm a boomer, they're a Zoomer. Let's hear from some Zoomers. You can, tell us what they're chatting or asking.
Are there any questions in the chat?
Nothing at the moment.
Not yet. Well, you're welcome to. So
I do have a question from a student who I know
ahead.
she really wanted to ask this. I think she might be on Zoom, but
Okay. Yeah.
I'll go ask it for her.
Go ahead.
Are there opportunities for students or grads to collaborate with you
Yeah,
or to intern with you?
Yeah,
and if so,
100%.
how? How should they do that?
Just email me.
Okay.
BaumanWellness@gmail.com.
There you go.
I like working with students for obvious reasons. They're young, they're fresh, they're great, they have energy, and I have projects. And so we learn together. So I'm always open, not always, but I'm definitely open. I'm still doing lots of interesting things. Yeah.
How about from the audience? Any questions?
I've been following Ed Bauman for about 10 years now.
More than that, Steve.
But more than that.
Yeah.
And when I first met him, I had high blood pressure, I had a cup of coffee and a couple of donuts. And, I finally had a chance to listen to him. It's hard to listen to somebody who's been doing something for so many years in a row and think you're doing okay, but you realize the doctor said, Steve, you got high blood pressure, you're not doing well, you're not exercising. But it got me drinking tea now, and I don't eat donuts anymore. I don't have any sugar in my diet.
Yeah.
And occasionally I do like grass-fed beef.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with a grass-fed animal.
I was thinking, you walk through the grocery store, you go to Safeway. What do you have? A little area, you buy some fruits and vegetables, you buy some meat, and then you got 20 other rolls of garbage.
Pretty
in the
much.
store.
Yeah.
And that's not really for us, that's for the large corporations. We don't need that. And
Yep.
that's
There you
my,
go.
my feeling about it. It's a waste of
Yeah.
their energy and our time in life.
Yep.
No,
Absolutely.
we're still buds too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Still getting coffee?
Blood pressure now is
Coffee's
128
okay.
over 72.
Ooh, smoothie.
And I'm the same age as that.
That's right. No, you're not.
No,
You're
no. He's 8 days older.
something like that. Good one. But what about questions, comments as well? I'd like to hear from a lot of people. What about you there? You came in smiling.
Well.
What's your
I've
name and
been
claim?
Hanging with you for 30 years.
There you are.
Funny.
Yeah,
I got bit by something when we were
Coral Reef, I think.
diving.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
We were in Mexico on a health retreat.
Yeah, and Manzanillo.
Yeah.
And instead of getting something local,
Uh-huh.
which probably would have helped me, I got really ill and flying home.
That was hard.
Stopped the plane and everything.
That was hard.
But I guess 30 years.
Yeah,
Because I took your classes in Sacramento.
there you are. I see. That's so cool. I love
And
that.
met you on the coast and did all that,
I-
and I'm still, I have a private concierge service, I project manage people's lives, but a lot of it is still
Yeah.
from everything with you.
Yeah.
And playing with food and creating food.
Yay.
along
So
with everything,
cool.
And I still follow you, and my
Good.
daughter had to wait 20-some years to go to culinary school, because then she had met somebody, because we were gonna do something
Uh-huh.
at the time. So she's going to culinary school right now. and
Good.
Who knows, but yes, so I appreciate.
Oh, that's so
Mm.
great. Thank you.
Amazing.
To your house, and where do you live now?
Sebastopol, same place.
You're still there?
Same place, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got same wife,
And
same
your wife?
house.
Okay.
I will, Chris.
Well, I have all good memories.
She'll get a kick out of this.
I went on several retreats because we did
Yeah.
one in Mendocino too.
Yeah, I did 30 years of group retreats with Lizette and Jeff on quite a few of them. And they were amazing. They were the greatest things we did. Because we were all going away and we were all in a group and as much as possible trying to get off the phone and get off the TV, get off that old stuff and just, hang out, fasting retreats and things like that. They were good.
Antonella, any questions in the chat?
There's one. What do you think of the new psychedelic treatments for mental health and anxiety and etc.?
Oh, wow. So
okay,
let's
you say
repeat the
it.
question. Yeah. So what do you think about psychedelic treatments?
For mental health and anxiety.
Yeah. So what do you think about psychedelic treatments for mental health
Yeah, I
and
get it.
anxiety?
I mean, it's interesting. Could be life-changing for good or for bad. Because if you think about it, if somebody's got serious mental illness, serious biochemical disorder, and they take something that's altering, it's hard to control. Now, all treatments are as good as the people administering the treatment. Nutrition is as good as your person who's giving you love and support. Acupuncture, psychiatry, psychology, any kind of therapy, the integrity, the quality, the attentiveness of the giver, is what determines the outcome. And, I have the president of the board of Bauman Wellness, Nick Shawley, who's a great guy, and his wife is Thais, who's a Bauman teacher. He trained in that. And if Nick were administering, micro dosing of things, I would feel good about that because I trust Nick. So with a lot of things, it's smarter to go easy and small than to go cowboy and make a big mistake. And it's not something to self-treat. So people who self-treat with their own illness have someone as a doctor who's not certified, including me, including you. We just can't get clear enough. We have these little beliefs, these assumptions, or somebody said it worked for me, a parasite cleanse will get rid of cancer. No, it won't. I mean, cancer may have changed and it may have helped, but we have to be aware of all this alternative, do-it-yourself stuff, particularly with people who are fragile. And I would say everyone in this room, including me, is very fragile. So knowing good people, having that kind of workup, assessment, evaluations is necessary. So I'm proud of the people who I've trained who are still in the field. Because there are a lot of people who went back to their regular job. They couldn't make a living. So I want people to make a living, and if I can help people, I will. If I can give you a rec, if I can talk to people. I have this one story. Did you ever know Laura Bartron? Yeah. She's a bright girl, beautiful person. She was a waitress, and she came to Bauman. And she gave up being a waitress to being a nutritionist. She was dialed in. This was a beautiful, smart person. And Laura knew her, it was in her era. And she taught for us. Anyway, she had real financial hardship because, she's just living day to day, week to week, which is how many of us are. When she came to see me, I gave her money for groceries. And then I said, I will pay you to do research because you're a researcher. So the Bauman research is people who are really good. Jody Friedlander, huge, okay? Well, she applied for a job at a fitness center in the East Bay. It was an upscale fitness center. And they said, well, it's between you and a registered dietitian. And the manager was going to hire the other person. I said, let me talk to the hiring people. Let me sing your praises. I go, forget about title. Who do you like best? Who do you think has more skills? He said, well, Laura Bartron. I go, trust me, I will bet the ranch that she will exceed your expectations tenfold. And there's no reason a person has to be a registered dietitian to tell people in the gym how to eat well, or how to get fit, or how to lose weight. It's not dealing with disease. We don't deal with disease, we build health. Even with people who are sick, we build health. If we understand that, we can help anybody get healthier. She got the job. She crushed it. She became regional manager up and down into Oregon and into Washington. She wrote programs. I said, you can use any of my stuff. I'll say that to you guys. You can use any of my work. It doesn't do me any good to go wash down the drain. You know what I mean? To have it just go boop. So keeping the lineage going is very important. And sharing things that were true 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 50 years ago or 100 years ago are more true than things that people think are true today. Because it gets truer over time if it's built on foundational principles. And the other stuff, is it this type of food program or that type or highs and lows? It comes and goes. So again, she had a tragic ending too, which is also how life can be. Why would such a wonderful person, knowledgeable person, get sick and die young? God knows. But man, she's got a memory in my heart, and all the people I know and worked with me. It's huge. But it can be done. I mean, again, this thing about conventional versus alternative, we're not alternative. We've never been alternative. We are traditional. We represent what's been true and what will be true, and other people are alternative. So if we understand that, it gives us a certain integrity and strength that just stands out. And the programs here are providing that opportunity for people to learn, because you don't learn from school. You learn because you're in school, but that just gets you in a learning mode that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I study 2 or 3 hours a day. That's what it's what I find interesting. And there's only 3 or 4 people I pay attention to. So that's interesting. There's 100 people with shout outs, and there's only a few who I find relevant to me with my knowledge and my information. So my top guy is Donnie Yance, Y-A-N-C-E. Top guy. Questions?
Well, we're
we
actually
got-
at 4:58,
Ooh.
but yeah, Sean, why don't you finish us off with one more question? Yeah, perfect.
I graduated from your program just over a year ago.
Yeah.
Just got certified in PCHN candidate. My question is, I'm also a writer. I've been for over 20 I do a lot of writing,
Skill.
website articles, but I'm having a hard time finding places to do the research.
Yeah.
So there's so much out there. I'll get to articles, I'm reading research, I'm like, well, that's not correct.
Yeah.
And so it's even harder to create content that's based off.
Can you pull your thing down?
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
it's even harder just to create content that's based off what I've learned at school,
Yeah.
what I believe in,
Yeah.
when I'm doing the research. So do you have any research tips for finding, like you said, those few places
Yeah.
that we can go to?
So I'm going to ask it for the camera too.
Yeah,
So-
please. I didn't quite get the question. but
Yeah.
go ahead.
So really, it's about looking like finding out like research tips. Like really thinking about like how do we do the research, and we're seeing what research is out there isn't aligning with what we know to be true, and we want to reinforce that. Is that right, Sean? Am I okay? Yeah.
Well, that's a big conversation. AI takes the data that's been published. The data that's been published represents commercial trials. So you can go, oh, AI says don't do this with that. Well, that's because somebody published that. But if you understand the interaction between plants and drugs, the amount of plant versus the amount of drug, it's a joke. It's not a threat. So you have to have some knowledge of experience from people who understand these things. If you shoot me an email, anybody, bowmanwellness@gmail.com, I could share some things that I follow, you know.
Well, on that note, I feel like we could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
But I know many people have busy schedules. So first, including you, and I want to say thank you so much for
welcome.
doing this. And it's an honor to have you here on campus.
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
also a real honor to help support the continuation of the
Mm-hmm.
legacy of Bauman College, along with some of the staff who are here. It's really awesome to see it continue to grow. So thank you for your support
welcome.
with that.
Happy to.
But before we break, I want to mention Dr. B does have books for sale. We're going to go and open that up. If you want to buy a book and get it signed, we can do that. And also, as you know, I think most of you know, we have an open house happening here too. If you want to pop in and get a massage, go walk around, you're welcome to. But as a closing, I wonder if you would humor us with our ritual that we do, if that's okay.
Oh, I remember it,
You
but
remember
I
this?
forgot it.
Okay. Well, so I want to lead everybody in
Okay.
a little ritual to kind of close us
That's
out.
good.
We do what's called the whoosh
Oh,
here. Yeah, you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
So many years ago at NHI, a Tai Chi master, Al Wang, he told us that when you mix sound and movement together, it can help you end a cycle and open you up for a new one. And so he created this one with some sound and movement for us that I'm going to demonstrate. And I know some people know what this is because we do it at the end of class, end of meetings.
Good for you.
But,
Shall we stand up?
Yeah, stand
Oh, good.
on up. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Well, actually, first of all, I think we all need to give you a round of applause.
All
So, yeah, thank you, Ed. Awesome, awesome. All right, and now let's do a really loud, this is what it looks like. You're going to be in a forward lunge, and you're rubbing your hands together, getting a little bit of warmth. Some people call it energy or chi. I'm going to count to 3, and after 3, I'm going to kick my back leg, clap my hands, and say whoosh.
Better watch
all
out.
at the same time. Yeah, it takes a little bit
Get a
of
little room.
multitasking.
Get some space now.
So I'll demonstrate it first. It goes 1, 2, 3, whoosh, like that. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
1, 2, 3, whoosh. Woo!
I like it.
Nice.
Good one. The charts are giveaway. Eating for Health chart, giveaway.
Oh yeah, we also have some
Recipe
Bauman
cards,
College,
giveaway.
some dish towels. If you would like to grab a dish towel, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, it was cool.
Can we take these off?
Recording stopped.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. That was great.
Hey, Ed, buddy. What's the name?
That was great. Your little.
Sorry, behind.
Yeah, but